Well, this is super cool. I am at the North Dakota Heritage Museum. This is a free museum, completely free, in Bismarck, North Dakota, and it is huge. The reason I am here is all over North Dakota I keep seeing these. They're perfectly spherical rocks. So I want to go in and find out what the story is about these rocks, because they're pretty cool. This one over here is broken, and it looks like what you would call a dinosaur egg, but look at the inside of it. Amazing. So I thought I would go see. Look at this, perfectly round. I'm gonna go find out what's up. Look at that one. They kind of look like they were just dropped here. First of all, I have to say that it's amazingly cool. This museum is completely free. Second of all, it's incredibly done. Look at this rock collection. Pretty cool. We're gonna go check out more stuff, but I mean, it's a really beautiful museum, and it's got just every aspect of the West and the Northwest. They even have information on North Dakota's role in World War I, which, just so you know, I had no idea North Dakota was involved in World War I. And then they also have a photograph downstairs that's really famous because it's a photograph taken when the President Roosevelt decided we had to be neutral and we couldn't fly over into Canada, so he had planes pulled over into Canada by horse. And I can't wait to see that photograph. But this is pretty cool. This is, look at that. Those are dinosaur tendons. Also, South Dakota and North Dakota are very famous for their dinosaur bones, which I don't remember seeing any museums in South Dakota, so I feel bad. I must have skipped them. Look at that. You can see bones and ribs. Scapula. Oh man, look at how huge that is. That is pretty cool. And it's pretty cool. I mean, they dug it out of the earth and they sealed it with, it looks like aluminum foil, foam, and wood, and just left it the way it is. And this is a foot. That's amazing. But I'm going to go check out other stuff and I will show you what's cool. It actually shows horse evolution. This is not the first time I've seen these pictures. So I actually saw these pictures in South Dakota and in Wyoming, which is pretty cool. But look at that bottom one. It actually looks more cat-like than horse-like. And when I looked at the picture in South Dakota, it was maybe knee-high to a picture of a ranger because it had a ranger alongside it. And these ones sort of look like reindeer. And then this is where we are with horses today, sort of. There's actually, you know, obviously different breeds. But this sign over here says that extinction and survival, the majority of horse species involved in North America. But I actually thought I learned in school that the majority of the horse species came from the Arab nations. So it's kind of cool to see that, you know, you learn different things as you go through life. And that tells you that some of the stuff you learned in school isn't always accurate, and maybe some of the stuff I'm learning now on this trip isn't always accurate. But it's pretty neat to find out. I'm not sure if the majority of horse species came from North America or if they came from the Arab nations. I don't know now. But it's pretty cool, and it shows that at one point all of the continents must have somehow, along some sort of lines, been connected. And it also strongly supports evolution when you can even of the human, when you can even track evolution of animal species. Just saying, that's my 2 cents. Check this out. So the Dakotas were underwater 1 million years ago, and they were full of predators. But check this out. This is a spinal cord. Is that not amazing? A fossilized spinal cord. That is pretty cool. I'm still in the North Dakota Heritage Museum, but I am in the underwater part, and these are all skeletal remains of things that were underwater. in this area. Look at that. Now, if you know me, you know I am not a good swimmer as it is. But there is no way in hell I'd be able to get away from these guys. Check this big guy out. That is amazing. Look at his teeth. It's a freaking fish. That's crazy. And the weird thing is, he has fins, and then these odd placed fins. And then look at that fin. That's very weird. And I'm sure some person who's more of a science nerd than me knows the name of that fin, but that's pretty cool. I'm going to try and get a picture of this whole guy. Then over here, they have, look at them, more fossils. This is a really, really nice museum, and I'm totally shocked that it is free. And I don't want to keep saying that because I don't want anybody to change it from being free. But it's pretty cool. And the odd thing is, even though it's a free museum in Bismarck, North Dakota, it's empty. And it's Saturday. Look at those. I see these rocks here. I'm going to zoom into them. I find those everywhere. Like literally all over the shore in Texas, Mississippi, everywhere. Now, I'm sure they're not as old as these ones, but I'm just saying you can find those anywhere. On the beach, everywhere. This, I think, is somebody's foot, because I saw that in another part of the museum and it was someone's foot. Another piece of a spinal cord, vertebrae, whatever you want to call it. And then behind me is a giant swimming turtle. Look at his face. And more importantly, look at his shell. It actually looks like it's carved into designs. Isn't that just amazing? And look at how big its feet are. I get amazed by this stuff. Pretty cool. Then another spine on the ground. Pretty amazing place. Alright, let's go look at something else. This little guy is equivalent to a rodent back in the day, because there he is. And then there's the foot of the big guy. And look at him. It's amazing to think that these creatures were on Earth, and there were cave people. And you know, it's funny because I used to watch a show with these cave people, and they used to always be running from dinosaurs, and I can't remember the name of the show, but I think it should come back to like Netflix or Hulu or something, because I think kids would think that stuff is really cool and that that's a good show, because kids are still into dinosaurs. And there was another show about these people who used to travel around in an RV, and I can't remember if they solved problems or if they discovered stuff, but they were like teenagers or something. I don't know. I can't remember it. I keep trying to Google it and I find nothing on it. So maybe it was something in my imagination, and that's how I ended up living in an RV. Who knows? But I think all this stuff is cool, and discovering and exploring it are cool. But does anybody else remember watching that TV show where like there were cave people running from these things and hunting them with spears? I can't remember the name of it. And since I told you that nerd story about me, I will tell you that I used to get up very early in the morning, very early, before school. Even, I still get up really early, which is weird, but before school, and I would watch this show about the Yukon, and these people that lived in these cabins by themselves and had sled dogs, and they would travel the Yukon, and it's freezing, and my dad would get up early to get ready for work, and he'd be like, "Why do you watch this show? You don't even like it, because it's cold." I said, "I know, but I think it's cool that people can live in the cold." So there, now you know a nerdy thing about me. I used to get up early and watch shows about the Yukon. I don't even think I'll ever go to the Yukon, because I don't like to be cold, but I used to love that show. Let's talk about this guy. In Yellowstone National Park one time, I got lost and went down the wrong road, and I saw this guy in a tree, and we had a stare off. And it was one of the most amazing memories of my life because we literally looked at each other with that face he's giving right now and me just staring in amazement and me telling him, look dude, I'm not here to hurt you. I didn't even know you were here. I just think you're beautiful. And I watched and I swear he didn't move the whole time. And I thought, well, maybe he's dead or maybe he's stuffed and maybe he's just sitting on that tree and they did him that way. But guess what? The owl blinked. And just so you know, I'd like to think he blinked before I did, but obviously that's not possible because we have to blink like a bazillion times and they don't, but it was pretty cool. And then when I went to try and leave, he turned his head, so I decided to just go get lunch and sit at a picnic table. But I have to tell you, they're beautiful. They're called snow owls. I'm in a bird section of the museum. If you know me, you know I like birds. I don't like birds though. That drives me crazy. But I do have to say that's the other thing. So South Dakota, it's pretty empty. I have to be honest. There's not much going on in South Dakota. But the road from South Dakota to, from let's say Pierre, South Dakota to Bismarck, North Dakota, you could see every different kind of bird you could possibly think of, I'm pretty sure. Because that's all I did was see all kinds of crazy birds. And lots of these hawks and everything. They were just really cool. And then this yellow-headed bird, I saw him several times on the way over here. And then different kinds of ducks. And just so you know, I thought I saw every kind of duck in my life, but I didn't because there were some strange-looking ducks in South Dakota coming into North Dakota. So this is pretty interesting. It's actually shaped like a teepee. Or a modified teepee, but it's not. It's actually a house. They found remnants of a house up here built like this, and it was logs covered in bark with some hide mixed in. That's pretty cool. I've never seen a home made out of tree bark, and I'm wondering how they peeled the bark off of trees in such big sections. It's pretty innovative back in the day. And pretty cool. But this tells about the story, and this was back in 500 BC that they found remnants of this house, and they found remnants of bones and food around the house that made them believe that the people were intending on a longer stay. And they don't believe that the people who built that house were Native American. So it's not a teepee or a Native American structure. Pretty interesting. I don't know. That seems like a long time ago to not be Native American unless it was the cavemen. And if it was cavemen, they didn't have a cave. They had a bark house. Pretty cool stuff you learn at these museums. This is the tent. And they're calling this one a teepee, but this one's made out of canvas. And you can't touch it, so I can't open the door. But this one's made out of canvas. And they're still calling it a teepee. But I thought teepees were predominantly for Native American, and the canvas were what, I guess, the white man used, the Europeans used. But it's pretty neat. There is a buffalo hide teepee that I'm going to check out in a minute. But check that one out. This is one made of canvas. And look what they did to seal the opening. They used little sticks as needles. That's pretty cool. So I'm really liking this place. See, this is a Native American dress, but it's got the American flag on it. That's pretty impressive. And I don't know, it doesn't have any information on it, so I don't know if it was something that was made and worn in the peace times between the Native Americans and the Europeans or what, but it's pretty cool. Because there's also these moccasins with the eagle on them. But when you read the little papers at the bottom, it doesn't say like which time period. It just says the late 1800s. And this one says it was made somewhere between 1900 and 1950. They don't know. Beautiful though. Look at that. Sorry for the glare. I don't know how to get the glare of the teepee off of there or of me. There's more modern outfits, comparatively speaking. A symbolic headdress. See, this is more of the traditional stuff I'm used to seeing in Native American wear, and these are the 1890s. So this is pretty cool. This is actually a Native American trophy. So if you were in battle and your horse was killed under you, you could have a trophy built to remember your horse by. This is a trophy that was built by No Two Horns, and he carved it to memorialize his gray horse that was killed under him in the Battle of Little Bighorn. That's pretty cool. I didn't go to Little Bighorn on this trip. I went there a couple years ago. That's actually a phenomenal site to go to too, if you're ever out traveling. Check that out. Well, sorry about the reflection. The windows behind me are from outside, but this is the picture of Theodore Roosevelt having planes drug into Canada by horse. That's a pretty cool memory. And it says pulling planes into Canada for the war effort 1940-1941. Pretty cool, and I'm shocked nobody's in here. This is called the Tree House, and it's in the top of the museum. And check it out, it's all kinds of things for kids to play with. This crank turns and tosses marbles and these green things down. It's actually hard to crank and hold the phone. But there's a fire truck, horses, the front of an airplane, a ship, and a giant tree house for kids to go into. Oh, look! And one of those light rooms. That's pretty cool. I'm really shocked no kids are in here. Again, this place is free. And it's Saturday morning. A grocery store. You could really have a good time in here. And then right outside it has lockers for you to put your shoes and your coats and stuff in. But it has a train. I think that's cool. Is a piece of the USS North Dakota. And they have it sitting outside of the museum.